Greater Charleston YWCA is gearing up for its annual MLK celebration around the Charleston area. I sat down one-on-one with the director of the Greater Charleston YWCA, Lavanda Brown, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and download my free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Lavanda Brown, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks for having me again. As always, it is a pleasure to talk with you, Quintin.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Needless to say, you're an executive director of the YWCA of Greater Charleston. And of course, for over 100 years, you all have been doing tremendous work here in the community, in particular with race and gender issues. So tell me, what's new, what's now with the YWCA Greater Charleston?
Well, I will say that there's a lot that's new. And some things aren't so new, like our MLK tribute to Dr. King. We have been doing this now for we're coming up on 54 years in the Tri-County, one of the longest running MLK tributes in the country.
Wow. And I'm literally right across the street from the old YWCA location right here off of Cumming Street.
That's right.
When you think of the MLK parade and its 50-year anniversary here in the Low Country, what is the biggest difference about that from your perspective?
Well, so our tribute is actually 6 days long. Starts with the business breakfast, business and community breakfast. And I would say that over the years, and definitely as a credit to Ms. Christine O. Jackson, this tribute to Dr. King has turned into a community-wide, extremely diverse opportunity for everyone in the community to take part. So it is not just looked at as a holiday and a tribute for the Black community. This is for the entire community. So we've really seen just so many people show up at many of the events, the breakfast, the ecumenical service, the parade, of course, and then we have our youth open mic. So there's tons going on during MLK that anyone and everyone can be a part of.
You talk about anyone and everyone. So how has that changed the other races in the Low Country since this particular event has been going on?
Oh yeah, we're seeing a lot of our corporations, which have a very diverse very diverse workforce. Google has been our title sponsor for the last 2 years. So, and they bring diversity when it comes to age, gender, orientation, identities, all across the board. Google brings all of that to the table, and we've seen that with a lot of our corporations.
And you talk about those corporations. What else are they bringing to the table when it comes to diversity and gender issues here in the Low Country?
Yeah, so that's one of the new things that's happening here at the YW. We are launching a new program, and it is a Low Country Coalition Building Institute, where we are inviting corporations in to really understand how to build coalition across identity lines. Because we do know that in the corporate world, even in the faith world, in leadership in general, the more voices that we can bring to the table, the better it is for our outcomes, whether that be sales, whether that be manufacturing, whether that be faith, bringing more people to the doors of the churches and mosques and synagogues. We understand that understanding how to build coalition across identity lines is important. And so far we've done 2 sessions, and we've brought in faith leaders, we've brought in nonprofit leaders, we've brought in folks who are just on the ground, boots on the ground, doing the work. And so we're excited that our corporations here in the Low Country and beyond will bring their whole selves to the table and all the identities that their corporation and their businesses bring as well.
And Lavanda, times are changing, obviously, and things are rapidly happening here in the world from all spectrums. So what other identities do you hope these corporations will build on when it comes to, obviously, coalition?
Yes. So we hope they bring all the identities. So I was actually having a conversation with one of the attendees who gave me a call and was just telling me about their experience in the workshop. And I really invited her to invite others to our future workshops. And I said to her, bring anyone that's not like you. So I said, not an immigrant, not a black facing, black presenting, not a woman. So like any other identity that you know someone that would bring that to this workshop, we need all of them. So a male, someone from the LGBTQ community, someone that's older or younger. We want people who have experienced this, what I call, it's a game changer workshop. And Quintin, you will be on my invite list. The next time we do one, I think it'd be wonderful for you to attend as well, so you can kind of see what has us so hyped. But we definitely want more men. We want the last workshop we did, I think the youngest person was in their 20s, the oldest person was in their 70s,
Huh.
and everything in between.
Oh my.
Yes.
What exactly is changing the game here in the Low Country?
YWCA is changing the game in the Low Country, Quentin. We are changing the game because we have had to pivot, as you know. Our mission in and of itself, which you could see from my background, hasn't changed. Although focus in some parts of, other industries, and of course we know the country, some things have changed, some things have been eliminated or watered down. Our mission is what it is. As you said, we've been here over 100 years, 117 to be exact. So, and that's our mission, and that's what it's going to be. So we, along with so many other nonprofits, particularly, and educational institutions, a lot of us have had to really make some changes. So what I hope is changing the game is that people are building stronger partnerships and stronger collaborations. I know that the YWCA is, and I probably could rattle off, some other nonprofits that I know are, but I'm not going to start because then I'll leave somebody out. But I do think that what's changing the game is that we're staying committed and we are still here.
And staying consistent.
And staying consistent. Absolutely. Yes.
You talk about over the 117 years of eliminating racism and empowering women here in Charleston, Berkeley, and Dorchester counties. How exactly are you challenging the political, economic, and social systems right now that are actually threatening your basic human rights and the survival of this world?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are not a very political organization, right, but we do do a lot of advocacy. We do support now individuals on my team. We're all different, and I have a very we are all. Well, we have one male on our team that does our fundraising for us, but we are an all-female team, but we vary in race and age, and just like backgrounds. We're, from the Midwest to the Southeast, where, we represent it all. And everyone has their way. So we have folks who have been marching and protesting. We have supported, some of the economic protests and blackouts. We, of course, are writing and calling our elected officials to hold their feet to the fire. Some of, if you ran on a certain issue, then we want to make sure that you stick to that issue and that you are being true to your word. So we're investing our time and our energy in a variety of ways so that we can make some impact on, all the things that is happening right now.
And what other impacts are you making on other things that are happening here in the Low Country?
And well, we have strong relationships. So we are, again, doing the same thing. So when I say elected officials, it's everyone. It's not just, right, in Columbia or in the White House, but, or I would say in DC, not necessarily the White House, but in DC or Columbia, but, here as well. And we have some strong allies. And so we keep everyone's feet to the fire. And, and we say the good, we tell the good and the bad. Because, there are good things going on and there are things that aren't so good.
What are the good and what are the bad? And what resources do you have to take care of those both?
Well, I think that when we can even look at just racial equity. We can talk about any equity, any of the disparities that we're looking at. Despite growth, we also still have a long ways to go. And so being very clear that there have been a lot of, there have been some changes. We taken a statue down. We've showed the country how to respond to unimaginable tragedy without violence. We've done, Charleston has done some things that are very positive, but we also recognize that we still have a long ways to go. We still live in a city that is unaffordable for many of its residents. We still live in a city where people are not making, livable wages, which would be still considered low income or even in poverty. So we recognize that shedding light on the disparities, and you would think that, well, the data is there, people know, but sometimes you have to get people in a room and actually have them experience through storytelling, through sharing of information, understand that these disparities exist and that they are based on inequitable systems. And in order to dismantle it, sometimes we really just need more education.
What are those inequitable systems that you can actually talk about when it comes to affordable housing?
Oh, all of the systems. So all of the systems are connected. And if you go back to the disparities report that was put out by the College of Charleston and the Avery Institute,
Right.
there's a quote in there that I think is like probably the most powerful, is that there is not a system in this community that is equitable for Brown and Black citizens compared to their white counterparts. So, and they're all connected. So education, housing, healthcare, it goes on. So I always encourage people, if they have not read that disparities report, and the data is consistent. It is consistent with reports that were 20, 30 years ago.
Mm.
So it shows, again, when you say what's the good and what's the bad, it's all in there, it's definitely shows that there are inequitable systems for all of the citizens, the Black and Brown citizens, as opposed to their white counterparts. And that includes housing. But we certainly see that there's a lot of housing development going on. But we also see that a lot of the folks who work the primary jobs here in Charleston, primarily in our service industry and in our tourism, that aren't able to live where they work. And so that's something that I know there are plans to address that, and we're paying attention to it so that, if we hope to see some positive change. We're looking for, the data to come back out again. But for as far as housing, it's not any different than education, healthcare, workforce, where the inequities are consistent across the board.
In that particular data, Lavanda, what surprises you the most?
Nothing actually surprised me. I've been doing this work a long time. I think if there's anything that surprised me the most, what surprises me the most are the fact that it's so easily available, yet so when I mention it, so many people don't know about it, which is why I mention it all the time. That surprises me, and it surprises me that when people hear the data, they many times are surprised as if they don't see the poverty staring them in their face.
What else is staring them in their face, in the face of growth and lack of housing and lack of jobs?
All of the disparities are staring you in your face. If you are not clear that many of the people who serve you in many ways don't live where you live, don't live where they work. Many of, even our teachers, our social workers, our healthcare, our entry level healthcare workers are, many of them are still, struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, or even having second jobs. So I think it's all staring us in the face. I think it's the tragedy is that people oftentimes can, I won't say not see it, but not have it be so obvious to them because of the life that they're privileged to live.
Or they want to use that as a shield.
It's a shit, yes, because it doesn't feel good when you really see it and internalize it. It doesn't feel good, and none of us want to walk around feeling bad. But at the same time, I feel like when we really feel like we've done all that we can do, then we can feel better.
Oh, absolutely. And I know you have to run, but quickly tell us about the upcoming MLK events that are coming up in January.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. So I'm going to just run down the days.
Yes.
Um, of course, this year again, we're kicking it off with our business and professional breakfast. That is, I mean, when I tell you we packed the Gilliard, we can't
Yes.
put not one more chair in that in those ballrooms. So sponsorship is open, and
Yes.
that's one of the events that sells out every year,
Yes.
thanks to our sponsors. So that's going to kick off Thursday, January 15th at the Gilliard at 7 a.m. Then we are going to have our ecumenical service on, oh, I'm sorry, we have a reception, but
Oh,
that is for primarily for sponsors, honorees, and that type of thing. But that's on Friday at the Isle of Palm. So if you are a sponsor, you will certainly be invited to that. Then on Sunday, again, Reverend Nelson Rivers III is inviting us out to worship at Charity Missionary Baptist Church. That's Sunday, January 18th, and that's going to kick off at 4 p.m. at Charity in North Charleston. On Monday, oh yes, that parade. We're
I've
gonna
always, listen, I've always wanted to be the parade marshal. So one of these days, I'm
Oh,
believing God I can do that.
okay, listen, you just put that in the atmosphere, Quentin. So listen, don't
I'm
be
gonna,
surprised if you
I got to talk to
do
God in
not
prayer
be.
about that.
And I skipped one. So the
Yes,
parade, of
ma'am.
course, is Monday on the holiday. We are
Yes.
going to kick off at I think lineup starts at 8:30. So that registration is wide open. That
Uh,
and breakfast is on our website. And then but on Friday, January 17th. And so for anyone who's listening who has a young person 25 and under, we are looking for open mic contestants to share their talent, singing, poetry, rap, dance, musicians, whatever, spoken word,
yes.
whatever, monologues, whatever you want to share with us, particularly as it relates to these young people's view and vision of equity or how they view injustices. We want to hear from our young people. So that's going to be on Saturday, January 17th at 6 p.m. And that's going to be at Fox Music Hall on Dorchester Road. So we got a full schedule, full schedule.
Oh, absolutely. And for more information, can we go to the website?
Yes, YWCAGC.org. We try to make it simple for you.
Oh, absolutely. Where do you see equity in the next 5 to 10 years?
Wow. Um, wow. There's a difference in some days it's a difference in how I see it and how I wish it. But I'm going to speak life into what I hope and what I want to see. I really believe that the pendulum, as Dr. King said, will have to swing back this way. It's got to swing towards justice. And I do believe in my heart of hearts that things have gotten so bad that they can only get better. And I've seen people come together in committed ways that may not have come together had it not been for some of the more recent changes and issues. And this has really been going on since 2020.
Wow.
So
Lavanda,
I see it coming back. I see the pendulum coming back this way.
okay. And in this conversation will be to be continued, obviously.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Lavanda Brown with the YWCA Greater Charleston. Thank you for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, Quentin. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes.